Here we have a new 2023 Genesis G80. This one comes in the Sport Prestige trim level, in savile silver, on savilla red. I think that's how you say those colors. But the powertrain consists of a 3.5 liter twin turbocharged V6 engine, made it to an 8-speed automatic transmission, and that gets us 375 horsepower, 391 pound-feet of torque. So to come around this beautiful front end here, we do get our LED daytime running lights along with LED headlamps. But a stunning view from up here. The G80, G90s, well, the GV80s too, I just love those front ends. They just look fantastic. Down here we have 20-inch wheels. Love the black brake calipers. We get passive keyless entry on the front two doors. And then we have our memory seat controls here. We get one-touch automatic up and down windows on all four doors, rear window and child lock there. Power door lock controls here, power mirror controls here. You can pick a side, turn it on and off, and then you can power fold there. And the blind spot monitors are right in there. Now, I love this. And I'm talking about the interior. It's just, that red is fantastic, but everything just looks super nice, super clean. Then we have our auto stop controls here, traction control, brightness for the gauge cluster. Hold this to open the trunk. And then you have a electronic parking brake, pull up to engage, hit the brake, press down to disengage. Hood release, which we'll open for later to show the engine. Then we have a power tilt and telescoping steering wheel. And here we have our power driver seat. Then we have power lumbar support. And then I believe we can adjust the bolsters as well. But I love that red, my goodness. But I'm 6'3" with longer legs, so we're gonna check out the rear leg room compared to how I have that seat adjusted. And then we do have rear window blinds, which I always love having. But I'll put that down. And please excuse the wind noise if you can hear it. It's about to storm here. But fantastic room back here, even with the panoramic roof, which that suede is awesome. But I have 2 inches of headroom up here, and then knees are just, the hairs of my knees are touching the back of the seat, but that's it. So very impressed there. And then seat back pockets on both sides. And we can even adjust the seat back here if you want to. And then down here, rear AC vents. You can control fan speed here, direction, auto mode, temperature there, and shut the whole system off. And then we fold this middle seat down. And we have 3-stage heated seats we can control for the outboard, and then we can control that rear window blind as well. And then open this up, cup holders are right in there. Again, I love the gloss black, the red, just nothing seems cheap in here. And we can fold this down and run longer objects from the back to the front if we ever need to do that. And then grab handle feels nice. And then we can hang 2 or 3 small hooks on that. But I want to give a huge shout out to Genesis of Cool Springs for allowing me to review their inventory. So definitely check them out if you're ever in the market for a Genesis, especially in the Franklin, Tennessee area, Nashville, Murfreesboro, all of that. But let's go ahead and take a look at this window sticker. Y'all can pause anywhere you need to, just to see all the standard features. And then this Prestige package, $6,500 option, but love having it. Now fuel filler, caps there, premiums recommended. And then come around to the back end here, LED tail lights, great look again. Dual exhaust down here, quick look underneath the vehicle. And now let's go ahead and pop the trunk. The button is right there. I love how they integrated that. And then here, we have a netted pocket on the side to keep stuff from rolling around. And then you can actually pull this up, which is super neat. You can just take it around. So if you want to just get rid of the net for a minute, you can do that. And then you pull up here, spare tire right there, jack and all that as well. So very luxurious, of course. Now to the front passenger seat, we do get power lumbar support here. And then we have a lockable glove compartment right in there. Owner's manuals as well. But you do get a lot for the money in this G80. And this one isn't even as loaded out as you could be. But there's that twin turbo V6, mostly covered up there. But let's go ahead and hop in the driver's seat next. So leather wrap steering wheel here. And I forgot to mention, these doors are also soft close, which I love having that. But to the radio here, this is gonna be a 14.5-inch screen. I'm gonna go ahead and open that up. There's a navigation screen there. And it is a bit of a reach, but I said this in my GV70 review. I love how you're able to go ahead and combat that. But we get AM, FM, XM radio, Bluetooth audio, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. All that's here. If you want to get a deep delve in the radio, check out my GV70 review. It's pretty much the same thing. Setups here. If you want to connect your Bluetooth devices, go over here and you can set all that up. Then phone projection as well. Backup camera, great picture. Guidelines follow you as you turn the steering wheel. And then you have a front camera as well. 360s over here. And one of the reasons this 14.5-inch screen was so smart is because you have the backup camera taking up what you'd normally expect on a vehicle like this, and then you have room to style the nav up or whatever you want to have there. But down here, I love how the hazard button is integrated into this like carbon fiber look. But you have quick button shortcuts, all your important stuff, nav, radio, media. You can set up your favorites and then your settings here. And then you have dual zone automatic climate controls here, so you can set your cooled seat there, heated seat there, heated steering wheel 2 stages, and then fan speed here, fan direction there. And it's really quick, really easy to use. And then you can adjust your rear AC controls there, even the heated seats back there. So pretty cool. And you can adjust temperature here, or you can unsync there, and you can sync it back up by hitting that button. And your auto mode is here, and to turn that off, you just have to adjust the fan speed. But the layout here is super cool. Love how everything's digital except the knobs, and then you have the buttons on the side. But down in here, wireless charging pad for the phone, and then you have 2 USB ports, and you can close all that off. And then volume knob here, you can click there to mute, and then you have your tune knob here. And this is how I use the radio. You can scroll through pretty easily just by turning the knob, and then you can press it to go into any setting, and then your volume knob down there. It's just easy to use. And then you have shortcut buttons here, so when you're in the radio, you hit menu, and then you can go through all of those different settings, and then you can just hit the quick shortcut back to the home page there. And the knob just looks superb, very fancy. Now for the shifter, turn to the left for reverse, go over once for neutral, go all the way over for drive, press P for park. And then you can do that back in reverse as well. Same way to go from drive to reverse to reverse to drive. And then your drive modes, you have Comfort, Custom, Sport, and Sport Plus. And then you can toggle your camera here, hitting that button, turn it on and off. And parking sensors, you can toggle those there. There's a button right in here, opens that center console cubby space, 12 volts in there. Then you have a removable felt tray there. But love that. It's hard to get in when I'm not looking. Here we go. Now for the sunroof, control the sunshade by pulling that back. And I love that we have the soft touch lights, and we can just cut all the lights on there. They're pretty bright, but that's how it looks with the roof all the way back. You could tilt it as well. But I love how you have the sunshade coming from either direction. Cuts down the time it takes to close it. But over to the steering wheel, hit this mode button. You can set that up and you can go through your media. So whether it's AM, FM, XM, whatever, you can do that. Favorite toggle there, you can set all that up. And then you can set up the mode button by going over here. And then you can uncheck whatever you don't normally use. So let's say I don't want it to go to AM and hear static or all of this. I just want to hear phone projection, Bluetooth, or FM. And then when it's only FM hooked up, you'll only hear FM. But Bluetooth button here, when that's set up, mute, volume, track list, or radio station presets. And then over here, smart cruise controls, toggle that, adjust, and then gap adjust for the cruise, and then your lane centering system there. And you can use this to go through that middle part of the gauge cluster and use this to go through the sub menus. But I love the digital display there. You get a heads up display as well, which also looks pretty nice. And then blinkers over here in auto mode, auto high beams with regular headlamps on, regular high beams. And then over here, windshield wiper controls, one time, auto, low, high, and then from the auto, you can adjust the sensitivity of the wipers here and pull up here for the wiper fluid. Push button start, garage door transmitter, sunglasses holder. And then I do want to take a look at this. There's that vanity mirror. And finally, here is our key fob, and we have that self-park feature as well. But next, let's go ahead and take this Genesis G80 out on the road for a quick test drive. So behind the wheel, the G80, excuse me, very powerful engine, this 3.5 liter twin turbo. And I drove a G90 with this powertrain and the e-supercharger. And that's meant to ride about as luxurious as limo. So it doesn't feel as sporty as this powertrain does. But the G80, to me, I think is the best of both worlds between the G70 and the G90, because the G70 is luxurious, but it feels more sporty. And the G90 is super powerful, but it's just meant to be the pinnacle of luxury. And this is right here in the middle. So it's not a G70. I should say it feels faster than a G70, of course, with the 3.5 liter. And then this still feels almost as luxurious as a G90. Just in terms of the controls, how everything is set up. But the G90 is just it's a different animal. But this, if you want to save 20 or 30 grand as opposed to getting a G90 and not miss anything, this is pretty much the way to go. Now, you don't get your massage seats, and you don't have heated cool for the back. You're missing a few things, but it's a bunch of stuff that you won't notice if you've never had it. But this is just it's a strong car in terms of performance. And I'll show you that here in a moment. Let's get into sport. Let's just put in the Sport Plus mode. And you can already tell it's ready to go. And it sounds good. Now I'll get a chance to open her up here. But super quick. And still rides relatively smoothly, even in this Sport Plus mode. And it just, in this Sport Plus mode, this thing turns into a demon, it really does. Oh yeah, that's nice. That's really nice. So you gotta take it out of Sport Plus mode, which I always forget. to use the Smart Cruise, but you can do that there. And then in the Sport Plus mode, your bolsters, without even having to adjust them, go ahead and stiffen up because it knows you're about to get a little crazy. So that's pretty neat. It does that in some of the Mercedes vehicles, so I'm impressed that Genesis threw that in there. And every time I drive a Genesis vehicle, I always think of a Mercedes equivalent that it's trying to take out. But I feel like the G80 is right in between the S-Class and E-Class. If there was a hybrid there, maybe like a CLS or whatever, they got maybe a GT63, the 4-door. But I mean, for the money, you're saving quite a bit as opposed to getting a Mercedes. Don't know if it'll be as fast because you do get the bi-turbo V8 with a lot of those Benzes, but still, if it were me, I'd go with this. If money were an option, if it weren't, I'd probably go with the Mercedes. Because the only thing it really has on this car, in my opinion, is I haven't driven a GT yet, but I've driven several Mercedes. Genesis does, I feel like they have Mercedes test cars that they just dissect to make theirs just as good. Because again, every Genesis I've been in, I'm like, dang, they're trying to be just like fill in the blank with this Mercedes. But for the money, you can't beat it. It's still a great bargain. And honestly, the only reason it seems like this should be less expensive is because they used to be Hyundai, but there is no remnants other than maybe the infotainment system, like the nav screen. There's nothing else that reminds me of a Hyundai. And you're certainly not getting this powertrain with a Hyundai equivalent, but a fantastic vehicle, great performance and great comfort. So this will bring me to the end of my review of this 2023 Genesis G80.